Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. In this video, we are going to learn about decimals. There are three main parts. First, I will talk about what is a decimal. Next, I will explain the connection between decimals and the fractions. Lastly, I will give some questions for you to try. Now, what is a decimal? We have 6 numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so which of these numbers are decimals? First, we try to identify the numbers we know. This is a fraction. 4/5. So, this is not a decimal number. This is a whole number. 5. Okay? So, this is also not a decimal number. Here, we still don't know what is this number. Then we go here. This is also a whole number. 254. 254. So, this is a whole number. This is not a decimal number. Then, this, as you can see, this is a fraction. 5/8. 5/8. So, this is also not a decimal number. We are left with these two unknown numbers, here and here. So, these two numbers are decimals. How to pronounce these numbers? First, this is 0 and 5/10. Again, 0 and 5/10. But usually, we just say this number as 0.5. This is the formal way to say this number, the formal way. And this is the casual way. 0 and 5/10. Here we have 0 and here we have 5. Next, this is 0 and 7/10. 0 and 7/10. We have 0 here and then we have 7 here. 0 and 7/10. A casual way to say this number is 0.7. So usually we just say it as 0.7 casually. Now, try the other decimal numbers. Can you try to say this number? Okay. This is 0 and 2/10 or 0.2. If you got it right, congratulations. Now, for the next example. Usually, here, we have 0. Okay? So, usually, we have 0 here. Now, we have number 5 here. Before this dot, we have number 5 here. So, this is 5 and 7/10, or casually 5.7. From 0, we change into 5 because now we have 5 here. Now, for the last example, we have 18. So, this is 18 and 6/10 or 18.6. Since we have 18 here, so we use 18. Now, this is 8 and 6/10. For decimal, we have two parts divided by decimal point. Here we have this is the first part before the decimal point. This is the decimal point, and this is the next part after the decimal point. We have 8 here as the whole number. Okay, 8 here is the whole number. Then this is the decimal point. So how about 6 here? The number after the decimal point. So remember the name of this number, 8 and 6/10. Okay, 8 and 6/10. Okay, now focus at 6/10 here. Focus here. Do you remember anything? Okay, so 6/10 is a fraction with 6 as the numerator and 10 as the denominator. So the second part here represents the fractional value of this number. Again, 8 and 6/10. 8 and 6/10. 8 is the whole number. Then this is the decimal point. And 6 here represents 6/10. So a decimal number is a number whose whole part and the fractional part is separated by a decimal point. A number whose whole part and the fractional part is separated by a decimal point. So this is the decimal point here. Then before the decimal point, this is the whole part. And after the decimal point, this is the fractional part. As you can see, fractional part. This is the whole part. Okay, so this is the decimal number. Next, we will learn about the place value for decimal number. This is our example, 135.5, casual way. The casual way to say this number. We already know before the decimal point, this is a whole number. We already know that this is a whole number. So, since we already know the place value for the whole number, we know that the place value for 5 is 1. Okay. Next, the place value for 3 here is 10s. 3 here 10s. 5. The place value for 5 is 1s. And the place value for 1 here is hundreds. So, what is the place value after the decimal point? Okay, look here. After the decimal point, we have tens as the place value. So this is the decimal points here. This is the decimal points. And here the place value here is tens. So the place value for 5 here is tens. Now, can you try the next example? Okay, so before the decimal point here, the place value for 0 here is 1s. Wait, okay, we can just directly see that before the decimal point, the place value is 1s. Next, this is the decimal point. The decimal point. So, the place value of 3 here is tens. Okay. I hope you can understand all of that. You can repeat the video if you are still not understand. If you still don't understand, you can repeat the video. Now, we will see the connection between decimals and fractions. Okay. Here we have 2 and 3 tenths, or 2.3, the casual way. Since we have 2 here, we have 2. Thus, we have 2 squares. 1 square, 2 squares. 2. Next, after the decimal point, we know that this number represents the fraction of tens. 3 tenths. So, we have a square here. Here, we have a square. Then, we divide the square into 10 equal parts. Since this is 3, therefore, we shed 3 out of 10 equal parts. Now, we have 3 tenths. Thus, the name 2 and 3 tenths. Again, I repeat, 2 and 3 tenths. Next, we will learn how to change decimals into fraction. Look at our first example here, 0.5 or 0 and 5 tenths. This is 0, meaning that we don't have anything here. This is 5, and the place value for this number is tenths. So, when we change this number into a fraction, we can just directly write 5 tenths. We just directly write it as 5 tenths. Okay? Next here, we have 0 and 8 tenths. So, when we change this number into a fraction, we will get 8 tenths. You can see the numerator here is 8 and the denominator is tenths. Why? Because the place value here is tenths. Lastly, can you try to answer this 0.7? Okay, if you get 7 tenths as your answer, well done, you are right. Now, we have to change from fractions into decimals. Here, we have 2 tenths. 2 tenths, a fraction. Since there is nothing before this fraction, we got nothing here before this fraction, we just add 0 before the decimal point. So, we have 0 and and 2 tenths, or 0.2. Now, look at the next example. The numerator is 1. This is the numerator. So we just directly write 0 and 1 tenths, or 0.1. Can you try to answer this example here? 6 tenths. Alright. The answer is 0 and 6 tenths, or 0.6. There are some questions for you to answer. Read the instruction properly. For part A here, you will have to write down both forms, the formal and the casual ways to pronounce the numbers. As an example, this is 0 and 4 tenths, or 0.4. So you have to write down both forms. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.